Hi everyone, and welcome to PhotoWalk Pro Tutorials. My name is Jeff, and today I'm bringing you a tutorial on shooting for HDR. Now, this isn't processing. I've done those in other tutorials. Now, this is actually setting up your camera to create images that are ready for the HDR process. So what I've done is I've taken my camera today, it's a D300, and I've set it up in my backyard of all places, and I've taken some shots. But more importantly, I show you how I go about setting up my camera and then getting those shots in preparation for the HDR process. All right. So without further ado, let's take a look. First, as you can see, my camera is on a tripod. This is extremely important for shooting HDRs, especially if you're shooting in a lower light environment. It's really important to make sure that your images are going to align later on when you're using your software to process the images, and to make sure you've got that absolute tack sharp alignment. A tripod is really necessary. Now, there is a way to shoot these, and I'll kind of run through it at the end here on how you can do it handheld, but for right now we're going to work on doing this with a tripod. So excuse the noise if you can hear that. There's the road running behind my house. So anyway, all right, so the first thing first, what I'm going to do is I've already got it on the tripod. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the back of the camera here so you can see. It's a little easier if I show you this way. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my mode from program, which I don't normally shoot it that way, I just wanted to leave it there, to aperture priority mode. This is also very important because if you put it on shutter priority to change your exposures, well, then your camera is going to be adjusting the f-stop, which is going to change your depth of field from image to image, which is not going to also give you the sharpest image. So it's very important to leave it on the aperture priority. Now, in the D300, to set up the bracketing, what I've done is I've assigned, and over here you've got a function button, and I'm just going to kind of show you on the front here. This is your function button right here. I have set that function button up to be my bracketing order, and the way you can do that for you people who are using one of these is to go into your menus right here. Let me see if we can zoom in a little bit, and I wish I could get a little better view that wasn't, there's my camera in the, okay, and go down to your controls, and then under controls you want to go to the assign function button, which is right there. You scroll over on that one, and then it says function button press, and right there, it's hard to see, but I've got it selected as bracketing burst, so that I can use that button to actually select my bracketing order. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit OK, and now, and then we hit the menu to get out of there one more time. There we go. So now when I turn my back display on here so you can see what's going on, as I press the function button with my right finger here, you see that I've got a 5 bracket frame going on there, and I use the thumb wheel to change that. And I'm going to take it down. This is where you normally start at a 0, and you can see right here, well, you can't see it really, but if you look right here, it says 1. I can actually change those by, third stop increments, but 1 stop works really well. The only thing I wish you could do is do it by like 2 stop increments. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to 5 stops. That's going to give me a normal, an over, and an under. Now, the other thing I want to make sure is that I don't have any under and over dialed into the camera. I just want to go ahead and use the zeroed out over and under, and you just get that up on top as your plus minus button right there to adjust over and under exposure for your camera. Just hold that down, and then you'll see it says 0. If it's minus, mine's usually dialed into like -3 or 7 or something like that. Go ahead and just take it to 0, and now you're ready to go. All right, here's the next important thing. As long as you're going to be shooting, get yourself one of these right here. This is a shutter release. Now, you don't have to have this one. This is the MC20. You don't need the MC20. You can use any shutter release that will work with your camera. And you can see this one just plugs into the 10-pin port on the front of the camera. But what this does is it allows me to actually activate the shutter of the camera without touching the camera. And that's really important because, like I said, we're trying to minimize shake, we're trying to minimize movement, and this will actually do the best job for us. So I'm going to go ahead and, you know what? Let's turn this sucker on. Oh, the other thing you can do is right up here on the wheel. If you want, you can set it on like continuous low. That will help a lot. I'm going to set this on live view real quick just to see what my scene is here. Okay, so there's my live view scene, and I'm going to move my focus point so it's on the same spot every time. The other thing you might consider is actually setting your focus and then turning your camera to manual which will manual focus mode. That will keep your focus from shifting, especially if you have it in an area where you have to readjust your camera position after focusing. So if you put it on manual, your camera isn't going to try to focus with every frame. But since I have a nice spot on here, I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, I'm going to turn live view off. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set it for continuous low. All right, I'm going to set my, let me just do it right here so you can see again. I'm going to set my aperture for, let's see, let's go with f11, and my ISO is set to 200. That's the lowest ISO available for this camera. You want to work with your lowest ISO. You want to eliminate the noise factors from your HDR photos. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to take 3 exposures here, or I'm sorry, 5 exposures. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see the blinkies are really going off on this one. I could actually probably expand this to 7 shots if I wanted to. And what I can do is I can zoom in, because I want to make sure that I've got enough exposure in these dark areas. Like right here underneath that eaves of the playground, I want to make sure I have enough exposure in there that it's going to be giving me an adequate HDR image. And things it looks like we are. So, all right, that's how I do it with the camera on a tripod. Now, the other quick thing I'm going to show you is if you're going to be shooting handheld because you don't have a tripod, the one thing you might consider doing is taking your exposure, and I'm going to go ahead and put this on the back view again here so you can see. Take your exposure and maybe take your f-stop down to something like f4 or 4.5, because now you can shoot a 5 exposure range, a 5-stop range, and you can use extremely high shutter speeds. And also shoot it in your continuous high mode, so when you click it, it's like boom, 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 boom. Okay, the way that the camera is going to shoot is so fast that it's going to minimize any movement or shake, but you sacrifice depth of field. So if you have to shoot handheld, that's what I would do. All right, hey, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, go ahead and find me over at PhotoWalk Pro. I'm Jeff, and you have a great day.